So, I grew up in the early 2000s, that's when I attended high school, that's when I was a teenager. I was also in college for a year before I dropped out towards the end of that decade. Basically, I would say my teenage years weren't ideal. I definitely messed up a lot and missed some formative experiences like having a girlfriend. But this was not for a lack of opportunities. Some girls were interested in me, although I screwed up those encounters due to my autistic social skills and other issues. However, I would say that average-looking guys like myself had many more opportunities back then compared to what I have heard from teenagers and young adults today. I think part of the reason for this was because the internet wasn't really popular yet. It was more of a nerd thing to be chronically online, and smartphones back then, like the Nokia N95, were also mostly used by nerds. Online dating existed, but it wasn't common and more of a niche thing. Some even considered it to be creepy. That said, we still had regular mobile phones to call people and send text messages. Some even had cameras that could take grainy photos. We also had video game consoles like the PlayStation 2 and later the Xbox 360. We had online messaging software such as MSN Messenger and IRC Chat, which I used quite frequently. There were also some social media sites, but they hadn't yet become mainstream and heavily monetized. You also weren't tracked and traced everywhere you go, and people mostly used these social media sites on their desktop computer, not mobile phones. In terms of culture and society, identity politics didn't really exist back then, maybe because virtue signaling on social media wasn't a thing yet. We had some black students and gay students, but everyone seemed to get along normally. There was also no loneliness epidemic. Most people still socialized and went to parties. Also, like I said, girls were even interested in me, and I wasn't anything special in terms of attractiveness. Maybe like a 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. But basically most guys in my school had opportunities to date and get girlfriends. There were few so-called inkwells during my youth. Regarding dating, back then you only had to compete with people from your own extended social circle, school, and possibly the local bars and nightclubs. Today, online dating can connect you with every attractive person within 100 kilometers or even from the other side of the globe. It's a tough world out there unless you have some exceptional advantages like good looks, serious wealth, or a large social media following. Basically, I would say that the early 2000s were peak humanity, especially in Western countries. All our basic needs were secured, we could travel almost anywhere in the world, we had enough modern technology but not too much, most people had somewhat healthy social lives, and so on. It was definitely an overall better situation than today. Now it is much more difficult to succeed in life, whether it be professionally, socially, or romantically. These basic needs aren't being met for an increasing number of people, and that is making it difficult for them to cope with the harsh nature of reality. That's why more people are waking up from the Matrix and seeing the world for what it truly is, some sort of brutal and purposeless hellscape. This is probably not a good thing because for most people ignorance is bliss, they can't handle the truth. Remember to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video. Okay, thanks, bye.